Hey everyone, it's TTL back with the first of my Z690 previews because the NDA has been lifted. Now I'm starting with the one that I am personally most excited about, and that is the Z690 formula. And in case you didn't know, it's actually pretty much a white motherboard. Now, I do want to go into quite a lot of depth and stuff with you about this, but you can click the link underneath to go to the Overclock 3D website so that you can read in depth about all the different bits and bobs that are going on with it and all of the stuff that they've sent us in the review guide and stuff. But there is your first glance at said white motherboard. Now, as I've said, I will explain to you about the board, but because it is a box opening and all that sort of stuff, we do have things that we can talk about otherwise. Now, this is an M.2 add-in card. They're calling it the ROG Hyper M.2 card. And you can see that it's got some text up in the corner, and it says, "Unite gamers of diverse backgrounds to achieve their potential together in play. Through innovative technology and exceptional experiences, we can push boundaries to create a world without limits." That's a hell of a tagline, isn't it? Anyway, so there are two M.2s underneath this with thermal pads, and I have looked at some of the other boards already because I've been taking photos, and this is one with a nice kind of backplate. Now, the reason why I say a nice kind of backplate is the others are with black boards, so they've not got a backplate. It's not actually doing anything as a heatsink, but it gives that silvery white effect. And you can see that there is a bit more kind of branding on the back. It says ROG warning, handle with care, maybe rage. There are a lot of little Easter eggs on a lot of the boards actually, which I found quite humorous. Now you can see it's a 16 times lane down here. Have asked Asus whether this is 16 times 4. I'm going to assume it's 4, even though we're on PCI Express 5. And I think it's just so that there's extra bandwidth available. Now, if it's 16 times, which it is, you can see all of the gold pins are there. There's only 2 slots on these, but these do, if we zoom in, if you look on the front one, does say Gen 5. So maybe the Gen 5 needs more room or more bandwidth on a Gen 4 pickup. I don't know. It's something that I have asked questions about, but it's all too soon because of NDAs and stuff like that, and they're running around like headless chickens like I am. Driver, USB, and it's USB 3 as well. Nice touch. So there are a few more things going on inside the box that I do want to show you. Now, I have taken photos of everything, so everything's been out. But this is a magnetic GPU support. So it sticks on your power supply cover. You've got a little thing there, and you can move it up and down to help support the end of your graphics card should you want to. It does come with 2. And these are braided Sata cables. So it's got like a nice soft braid on the end. And I know my camera's spazzing out because there's too much white here and I'm trying to show you black, but we'll deal with it. Then you do have an adjustable, this is magnetic as well, Wi-Fi dongle. The key ring that they're putting in every motherboard box for quite a while, and it's starting to bore me, keep saying about it. There's 3 more Sata cables there. Feeling like there should have been a 4th, but I can't find one. There it is. There's the 4th. So there was 4 in total. There are a couple of RGB extenders. You get a single addressable one and a single 4-pin one. And then you get the other screws and stuff that you would need to for the motherboard itself. Now is the time. Now is the grand unveiling. Now is the motherboard time. And I know it's the bit you've all been waiting for anyway. So, before I sit it down, spangly look around the back. It's a shame that all of this is going to be covered up when you think about it, because in the majority of cases you're not going to see it. Has set my spidey senses stroke modder kind of want a little bit wild though, because it's made me want to do so many things in regards to what has it made me want to do? Play around with it, make it like not standard, like play and do all kinds of unique things. Now, I can't do anything about the way that my camera spazzes out with the white. It's just the way it is. I've tried messing around with light balance and stuff, but we will work our way around it. These parts here are perforated. There are light panels underneath. Now, technically I'm not allowed to show you a powered up system, but I have a magic cable that I can plug in later, and I will show you the RGB effect here, and there is a little screen over here as well. First things first though, the white. It's obviously a big thing on this board, and amazingly, it's, other than this part down here, oh no, even that part, now I've said it, it's all metal, which is nuts. And the reason why it's all metal is they've just gone to town with it. This bit here is admittedly plastic, the switches are plastic. Everything else, as you can see, when you have a look around, you can see all the folds. So it is a very cool, kind of like armour plating. Other bit about the formula is there is a big, massive Vrm heatsink that has been designed and made by EK. Now the base for the Vrm is much larger than normal. I think they're saying 20%, but I could be mistaking that, because I know there are 20 power phases underneath, and those 20 power phases are all 105 amps each. Now there's I should say 20 power stages, because there are 10 phases. Again, not a lot of details so far that have been fed to me from Asus, but I'm going to assume rather than doublers, they're parallel wired, because that's a common thing that they've been doing a lot more recently. So I think that's the way that they've swung with it. And to be fair, I wouldn't blame them, because it does work really well. So, big water block, nickel plating, there's more copper going on inside, there's a larger surface area for water to pass through, so it's able to cool more efficiently. They've gone to town on this because the power requirements on or from the CPUs are quite vast, it would seem. Not sure whether that breaks an NDA, but it's also something to do with the fact that they can switch really, really fast. And we all know in the news now, if you go and have a look, that they've got big cores and small cores. So it's the fact that they can literally fly between tasks. So that means that the switching and the VRMs need to be able to keep up. So that's why there's an awful lot of them. I'm surprised as well. You'd think with more power efficient processors, you'd end up with less need for massive VRMs. But, you know, hey ho. So, a look around the board. 2 shielded 8 pins up on the top corner. All very, very sickly, nicely. Like I said, they're shielded, lovely. And then we've got 4 PWM headers to the top, and then you've got your poster readout just up here. Don't forget, at any point, you can pause, because I may be jittering and moving, but I will do my absolute best. We have a retry button, we have a start button, we have a flex key button, then your 24 pin connector here. If you look carefully, as the light captures it, you'll see there are a couple of pins up here that catch the light a bit more, and that's because they're solid pins rather than folded pins, and that's where the main juice is going to be firing through. There's an extra 6-pin PCI Express connector here for if you need it down here, but I will tell you straight out of the box that this isn't something that has to be wired in with every system. But this made me wonder. Now, I hadn't read the press briefing at this point, and there is a random button here. But keep your eye on this as I press this. The little button undoes the PCI Express, because many times with heat sinks up here, or the M.2s, or big graphics cards, or big coolers, you find yourself trying to like get a ruler or something down to be able to push this so that you can release your graphics card. But now they've literally made an ejector switch. Now, when I first did this, I was literally pressing it and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's like a weird start button. I wonder if it's meant to change the lights. I wonder if it turns the lights on and off. And then I realised that there was a tiny little bit of wire that runs along here, and then when you press it, bosh, this is a masterstroke. I will tell you right now, MSI and Gigabyte are both going to be copying this within 6 months, because it's epic, or whenever the patent runs out, because they're never allowed to keep them for that long. Anyway, USB 3.2 Gen 2 external header there, a couple of internal USB 3s there, and 6 SATAs. Down in the bottom corner, water cooling area. If you're a beginner to this stuff or beginner to Asus, you get a water pump RPM here, you get water pump temperature here, and then you also get a water pump header here. I should really just zoom you in so that you can see a little bit more. There we go, and I'll do my best, but the more zoomed in we are, the more I jitter and shake. Couple of internal USB 2s. You get some very bent pins at the bottom. That would have been me earlier on. But you get 3 RGBs down here. You get a normal RGB and 2 addressables. It's now making me look, because now I know I've missed, because there's your other addressable, because you have 2 addressables and 2 normal 4 pins. Okay, so I can't talk to you too much at this present moment in time about block diagrams and stuff, because that's technically part of the NDA, I believe. But what you can see here is we have a header down here. This is only wired 8 times. This one, despite being shielded, is also wired 8 times. I think, well, I know this one's 5. I think this one's 5, and I think this one's 4. But there's been some confusion with the way that it's been described in some of the paperwork. So it could be 5, 4, 3. No, sorry, could be 5. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to suggest 5, 5, 4. There's a lot more going on with the chipset and stuff underneath, because there's a lot more bandwidth. There's a couple of M.2s here, there's an M.2 here, there's an M.2 underneath this. You've also got the expandability of the add-in card as well. And then round the back, one thing I will say is here, HDMI. That's only going to work if you have one of the chips with the onboard graphics. If you've got a dedicated added-in card, then you're not going to want to use this anyway. But if you've got the KF, for example, then the KF means you've not got onboard video, so this just won't work. You have a couple of USB-Cs here, but you can see the little lines above mean they are Thunderbolt. You've also got BIOS flashback, CMOS reset, couple of USBs, 10G Ethernet. Oh, Tom, come on, go, that's it, come on, that's it, deal with it, back a bit, there we go, see, still learning. 10G Ethernet. Then you've got the BIOS flashback header here. You need to make sure that you plug that in. Also, don't forget with the BIOS flashbacks, if you're using a not one of these formulas, but let's say you've got the Strix, for example. If you've got the Strix Wi-Fi, you need to make sure you have the Strix Wi-Fi BIOS, because the normal Strix BIOS just won't work. Anyway, lots of connectivity around the back. You've got your Wi-Fi here. You've also got your gold-plated audio headers here, which also light up so that you can see which one's the green one, which one's the pink one. It helps you out at night. This is getting rather heavy. There is a lot of stuff going on with this board. But I did say to you, is I'm trying to do this in a completely uncut, because I don't have enough time to scratch my bum, let alone do all the boards that I need to do, that I can power. So it took a couple of attempts. And I think that's just because I'm using the Magic 24-pin cable to kind of wake everything up. But we got there eventually. And you can see over the I/O at the back, you've got the perforated ROG logo. Obviously, these colours are just in a demo mode, so you'll be able to change them as you wish with the software and stuff. And then you've got the chipset logo, which is lit up as well. And then the only other thing where we can get an early glimpse of what's going on is the screen, where what I would call where the north bridge should be, which again you'll be able to assign temperatures to, put your own logo there, be able to monitor CPU usage, memory usage. It's all in the software. You can configure it as you should wish. There are a lot of options. I do need to stress though, just verbally, that there is no CPU in the board. I'm just jump starting the motherboard itself, so I am not powering a full system. And that is because in the NDA it says I'm not allowed to power a full system for these videos. But as you can see, it's literally just a bare motherboard with the light showing up. But for now, at least, this is the tiniest one. Please like, follow, subscribe, all of that sort of mambango that you can do if you wish. There are also a lot more Asus, MSI and Gigabyte previews going to be going live on the channel on the same day and then afterwards. So please check back to the channel to have a look. And the full reviews will go live when I'm allowed on or after the 4th of November, depending on the boards that you are looking at. Deep breaths. But for now, at least, this has been the tiniest one with another video for you out. Love you, sis.